Hey, it's Dave 2 on August 27th, 2024 at 9:17 a.m. I am doing a session now, even though I don't normally do sessions in the morning because I feel very vibratory and I keep having data pop in. So I already have a feeling, and I've been having this feeling since sometime last month, that my news event for September is going to be on September 18th. Yesterday, I had an impression that there's something about the 14th, the 16th, but ultimately the thing spikes on the 18th. So I'm already biased on that. I've already had some directional data and stuff. I'm going to try and not AOL drive on that, but I do find it to be rather interesting. So let's get started. This is F4 on the front loading scale. I am aware of the tasking, which is going to be the most significant news event of September 2024. Okay, target. Wow, that is like a energetic punch, like a lots of energy, very fast, piercing, huge, energetic. Let's take this up. There's an angle down. It's like a thin angle down. AOL, like a it's like a straight zip line or something. Coming in at an angle. Here's the flat. There's that. I'll come draw this in a sec. But it's like a 10 degree. It's a low angle like this, coming down from some point up here. What else is at this location? Feels somewhat urban. I'm AOLing a city location at the moment. So in terms of like what is the angle? Typically, if I'm doing a location target, I see like a whole landscape from above. This is being like 30 something feet off the ground, looking down, and there is this long thing over a distance, very fast. I'm AOLing like a Capitol building, not a Capitol building, one of those old Pennsylvania bell tower type things. And coming this way. Okay, there is so much stuff going on here. There's a structure over here. It appears there's a bio on this side. There's land with structures and things. There's land, open space. There's a bio here, but there's lots of bios all over. AOL of the Las Vegas shooting. There's a flat area here. Feels like a thing. There's so much to unpack on this one. Holy cow. There's so much detail. This is like 1,000 feet difference between the two. What's important about the middle? It's like you could describe the middle, but that would be last. And it just showed me a view from this, and it's like traveling over stuff, going over top of some sort of structure thing. But if you look at it, it's like so far off in the distance. This is giving me the Butler, Pennsylvania vibes, but like on a different, more urban level at a much greater distance. So let's dive into that's so fast. Okay, what is traveling fast? It's cylindrical, metallic, coned, light, very light. There's a loud pop, huge rush of energy. The hair on my skin right now is like packed. There's this sense of adrenaline. I'm getting probably like an emotional impact then from this. It's AOLing being at a gun range for the first time, which I was a kid, so, and being like very high energy. So we have this tangible thing, metallic, kind of brass looking in color. It's not quite copper, not quite silver. Textures, they're like smooth, but there's also like a ridgeness to it. The smells and tastes metallic. A little bit like sucking on a penny, but not really. My subconscious was like, don't do that. And there's a sense of like a firework exploding in your mouth. Temperatures gets very hot. There's a thing that happens with it where it's that, but then it curls out. This is so specific. Like this would be a bullet. It's like this unfolding thing, like a bloomin' onion or whatever in reverse. Yeah. Sounds. And then all these echoes of reverberations. A whooshing sound. Pop. There I got the impression that it like goes into someone's chest. That was more AOL imagery though than data. So definitely AOL of that. Okay. We have the dimensionals, we have the shape, we have the thing moving extremely quickly at a downward trajectory over 1,000-ish feet. It feels like it's a little bit over 1,000. Like someone comparing it to football fields and it being like 3 football fields. But isn't 3 football fields 1,000 feet? Or 1 football field 1,000 feet? Or is it 300 feet? 300 feet. Okay, so it's 3 football fields. Aesthetic impact is it feels like some big catastrophic thing that's mostly conceptual or political in nature. I guess political is an AOL that we will get into tangibles and intangibles. So we have S4, this thing of the structure here that's moving. What is this? Tangible. What is intangible about it? It's a weapon. There's like a very brief moment in time that's like walking up to it, and then it causes like a massive amount of chaos. There's just crazy stuff going on with it. Okay. What is intangible about this structure? It's a tool, a utility that requires, although it has some sort of stuff in it. Oh, there's a mechanic of it spinning clockwise. And it's basically saying that this is intelligently designed in order to do that, but it still has to be done with skill and precision. It's like a precise tool. I'm getting the sense I'm supposed to move on and look at other stuff so I don't dwell too long on any one particular data point. Okay, dropping down a little bit further here, we have this structure that's moving between two locations. I'm already getting the impression of this room. It feels like an open area. I compared it to like a bell tower before, where there's like this very boxy thing. It feels there's reds and tans, but it feels like, you know, like the stony stuff that it's made out of. It's like, I don't know if it's concrete or stone or what it is, but it feels like very grippy and stuff. It's kind of like that. And then I'm AOLing the feeling of bricks as well. So all of those colors, you know what I'm talking about, where there's bricks and then there's the larger, which I don't know if it's concrete or plaster or what it is, but like the large sections of pillars and stuff. Then inside of it, it's like dark and open. I've never seen anything like this besides the general sense of like inside of a bell at like a school or something. Like it's giving me like Hunchback of Notre Dame vibes. And that area seems rather tall. It's open. It doesn't feel like people usually go there. It feels like it's normally off limits. This is kind of going to like S4 intangibles right away. Smells, tastes of this location. It feels elevated. So that's dimensional on S2. It's like 5 or 6 stories up. It's giving me Lee Harvey Oswald vibes. AOL / aesthetic impact. There's a black shadowy figure there. I should be focusing, but there's like a team of people. There's like multiple people here. And there's a sense of nervousness about even saying this data and reporting it. Like this data puts me in danger. Oh, there's a AOL of a movie where there's an assassination attempt and it's from a tower and it's basically just data dumped this whole thing on me at that moment where it's like, there is a movie, go look at it. Is Gerard Butler's in it? I don't know what this movie is. I've never seen it, but saying there's a movie with Gerard Butler where there's an assassination attempt, but the thing that's used is not a person. It's a device. There's an artificial intelligence aiming mechanism to this. I'm just going to freeform now because I'm so deep and lost in this. So there's all these black military-like figures here. Am I recording? Yeah. There's all these black military-like figures here, like special ops or something. They're not wearing helmets and they're operating some sort of thing that came out of a bag. There's a layer underneath that being like they're not dressed in black. That's the conceptual data to get you to realize that they're some sort of militaristic operation, but they're more dressed in plain clothes. They can just like blend in. And there's like this elaborate plan to get them into this location. And then they set up this device and it clamps basically really tight to the ground. And then it's looking at something. And there's a guy holding like it feels like a laptop or something, like a station for it. And they're basically doing this very precise firearms shot with this big long barreled thing with some sort of thing on the end. This is a monster session. I'm going to have to unpack. Wow. And it's taking a very precise shot. I heard the words like this can't fail this time or something. Like they're not taking chances anymore. They're like putting it into a machine to do. It's showing a little window where it's like you can get it like within here. The word 45 cal, I don't know what stuff is used at what distances. There's a whole feeling that I should not put this session out. Like when I'm around this group, it feels like me even viewing this reball, me viewing this activity and reporting on it is basically some sort of attack, or it puts the plan at risk to have people talking about this. It feels like three, possibly a fourth individual, but the fourth might just be looking, watching. But there's like three individuals here who are operating this. Militaristic, like normally they would wear all black stuff with everything on it. This feels like they're dressed as civilian things with hats and things like that. Tactical, intelligent, militaristic, using some sort of laptop, tablet apparatus to operate this thing. And AOL's is a movie, which supposedly Gerard Butler played in, where there's an assassination, political assassination, performed by something. And it's saying there's predictive programming here so that there's doubt on what will happen. There's just so much going on here. I'm like watching them. It feels like being in the middle of a city. There's these large buildings and stuff. And I don't know when there would be some sort of thing out in public like this, where there's like a clear shot in the middle of a city with tall buildings around. That doesn't make any sense at all. It feels like some of that data might be conceptual, where it's like I'm throwing you things to get you to realize that you're in a city urban environment. And then it's kind of like we're scrunching down some of the scales right now. But yeah, the words Atlantis has fallen. What does that phrase mean? Atlantis has fallen. Atlantis sounds like a code word. Like there's like a radio. It's like Atlantis has fallen. So fast forwarding the timeline a little bit, they like go down, something happens. There's chaos, there's panic. That's like the big energetic event. And it's something that you can't put back in the box once it's happened. And it's basically like this reverberating event thing where it causes lots of chaos and panic across a bunch of people. Whew. They go down this stairwell, zigzagging. There's something to do with the equipment where it's in this like rectangular black bag, but they like leave it at a location and somebody else comes up and picks it up as like part of another work job. This is all very espionage-ish. Interesting. Yeah, there's really the sense that I can't put out this session. Okay, I think we've described this decently. We've described that there's this projectile that appears like a bullet going. There's another structure there that we can look into. Should we go to that? Yeah, it's in. Let's go to that. It has like it's like a tripod, but more for stability. Tripods can still tip. This appears to be 4 more things that go out. And like this thing is like rock solid sturdy, like crazy freaking sturdy. It almost feels like they bolted it into the ground or something. Yeah, it's talking about like a recoil and that the entire thing like has to stay put. This is definitely some sort of assassination like target. There's a bunch of stuff going on. It's not like a single pole going up, but there's like a bunch of stuff going on around it, which feels like stability or tracking and stuff. There's motors and gears and things like that. And it's like the thing folds down or something, and then the whole thing gets packed up in this thing that gets carried, but it's really heavy. And like the dudes are like super strong. Yeah, everyone feels military. Like it's saying I could dive into those bios and two stuff, but there's just too much detail here to get into. I might need to come back and do more sessions on all of this stuff. There's so much stuff here to look at. The weapon thing here that we're describing, which AOL I'm naming names, it has this long, thick barrel. And then there's this thing that's like a squished down octagon on the end of it with some holes in it. I don't know what that's for. It feels like it's out of a video game or something. But yeah, that's the thing. Big things, like big bullet things in there. AOL, cylindrical brass thing. Let's move to the other side of this over here. It's giving me the vibe of the a stage with a person speaking on it. I'm AOLing Kamala Harris though. Yikes. That would be bad. Why does S5 deconstruct? Why does it remind me of Kamala Harris? Political. Doing my map. Political. Kind of thin, slender shape. There's a thing of like subverted expectations. Taking control of a narrative. To be honest, all that stuff feels like data. Over here, I feel like I'm in some sort of like weird AOL drive. So I was S5 deconstructing why it felt like Kamala Harris. That whole thing doesn't feel real. So I don't think this is good data. I'm going to bucket this up, put it over here. We have a bio. There's lots of bios behind them. There's bios in front of them. There's a angled slant behind them and a flat thing, very reminiscent of like a campaign type thing. I'm trying to even figure out how to map out all the gestalts and stuff. There's this bio. Let's bring them up, talk to them. Hello, what is your name? I think this is too hard to really get into. There's like 3 different voices. One of them is like Donald Trump. It's Donald Trump saying it. So the tangible, intangible, and like their whole form is changing. So I can't really ask to it because I think that my conscious mind is interacting on it. Maybe I can come back in an additional follow-up session and do this. Okay. And my subconscious is basically saying, just do like a brief rundown of what the event is, gather all the data, and maybe I shouldn't even release the data. It's saying just release the drawing and that. Where does this occur? There's a weird sense of Chicago. Chicago has been in a lot of stuff lately. The DNC was just there. There's a prediction of some sort of problematic thing there. Why does S5 deconstruct? Why does this remind me of Chicago? I'm all over the place because my brain is like off the charts here. Why does this remind me of Chicago? City, tall buildings, urban environment. Atlantis Has Fallen again. I'm going to look up that term after. It's like good. Look it up. Okay. It's saying you're going to have a hard time finding that building in Chicago. There's just something about it though. There's something about all this data or whatever. Okay. So I have a person here, male. We're back to the end. What's over here? It feels like there's one very important person and like 3 others. 6, it says. This is a, so let's just tangible and intangible the event. There's an event that occurs. Tangible is that. What is intangible about it? It's a catastrophe. The aesthetic and emotional impact feels a little bit like 9/11. You know, the like feeling of like sinking and just shock, and all the TVs are on. Everybody's in disbelief that this is happening, and everybody kind of knows there's like bad things to come. A feeling of uncertainty. Event. What is intangible about this? Televised, public. There's a thing of like a person standing there on the thing, and all of a sudden, so I guess it's backwards if I mirror it, but they go to their left. So they're standing there and it comes in from their right. And it's basically like they just get completely blown to the side and like collapse, like completely knocked over, standing there and then like, super hard on live television. The president has been shot. Turmoil with this event, tensions, turmoil, precipice, no going back, escalation. There's the chess move idea that there's a deliberate thing done in order to evoke a response, and the response is already anticipated. And if the response happens or something, then it's basically used as like context for escalation. AOL Phoenix, which I think the Phoenix thing is you cause the problem to provide the solution. Sacrificial. There's like motivations and stuff to dive in here too. I think like 30 minutes in. Yeah, I'm going to have to come back to this because I got to go. All right. It is 9:48. I'm going to say end session. Actually, I'm going to draw it real quick. There's like this thing up here. There's lots of windows and stuff here. This is a building, and this event thing happens within here where there is this thing, right? And it's basically standing there. This goes this way. There is some sort of thing shaped like that here, and like goes above it. And then there's over here, we have, so this is like a 10% grade fast to draw that thing. It's like, and then the ends here are like curled or something. I don't know when they get curled. Yeah, it's a cylinder, cylindrical, metallic, brass. That is on this thing right here. Traveling. This is the mechanical thing. There's 3 bios over here. There's a stairwell, and it feels like it goes out to city streets, city, urban. There's some sort of shape to it. It's like a platform thing. There's a person here. It feels like there's things like that there, and it still is able to get to it. There's a backdrop with lots of people. People over here. This is a big flat area, and this thing is like the only thing that is 45 degrees. And then you have this thing here. Colors, blue. That's what reminds me of Chicago, is all the colors. The colors, the glass, the blues, the blacks. This is predominantly blue. There's like little lines of red. This feels like utter panic. And this is some sort of military operation. There's danger involved. There's danger for me to report it, apparently. It's not good. This is 1,000+ feet. Atlantis has fallen. I'm going to look up that term after. Urban environment. This is 6 stories. Fast trajectory over here. Political. So we're basically defining an assassination event. We have not located where in the world this occurs. It's large, energetic. It feels like a chess move. So this is supposed to prompt an action. This is the whole summary. This is supposed to prompt action, justify reaction, take. Like there's a situation that's not in control right now, and they're taking control. Televised. This person falls over. Anything else? That's my data for this. There's lots to dive into. I am way past AOL Drive. This data felt really good. This data started to blend and merge. I don't trust this nearly as much. I can do more sessions on it. It's basically saying describe this, share this out, and don't go further with releasing stuff. So that is very interesting. Yeah, thanks for watching. If I do release this, and if not, I will re-record a summary and share that out. Thanks.